Okay, and welcome to today's presentation on the secret of Jeunesse. In this video, we're going to showcase you. It's a webinar, all right, and we're going to showcase you on what are the thing that Jeunesse is trying to solve, all right, so that you guys know where Jeunesse direction is regarding the products on where it's going. Okay, so let's get started. Well, the first thing is you need to know something about Jeunesse. Now, Jeunesse is not in the health, it's not in the disease business, all right? It is in the health business, all right? So that means we are not about trying to cure disease or anything. We're trying to help people to keep them healthy. So how do we do that? Well, Jeunesse is also not about anti-aging. So a lot of people have this misconception that we're about anti-aging. So as you will see later on, what Jeunesse really is about. Okay, now Jeunesse is about Generation Young. So what exactly is Generation Young? Well, there are two things. There is a young generation and there is Generation Young. So what is young generation? Yeah, as you can see here from the slide, young generation refers to age, chronological age, young generation. Okay, so young generation is here where they've gone from child to adulthood in your 20 plus. Once you're in your 40s and above, we call this older generation. Okay, so old generation and young generation. But what we are concerned right now is we're talking about cellular age, because someone can be at 50 plus and their body inside could be as old as 70 plus, and that's why they could die anytime. And a lot of even my uncle recently went for a checkup, and because of his diabetic background and his health issues, and doctor was surprised that although in his early 50s, when doctor checked and said, you know what, your body is like 70 years old. Is that old? So the most important thing, what we want is what we should be concerned is not our biological age, all right? Someone can be 60 but can be healthier than someone who's in his 40s, right? If his cellular age, the one at 70 cellular age could be at 50s, but the one at 40 cellular age could be at 70 or could be at 60, all right? So that's why cellular age is what Jeunesse is trying to solve, all right? So cellular age is different from your biological age, okay? But how come someone here who's old can feel as strong as someone who's younger? How is that possible? Okay, so that's where Jeunesse is trying to solve this problem. So this is called Generation Young. When you're older, but then you feel that you're younger. So how do we do that? Now, to do that, we need to understand a little bit about how aging occurs. All right. Now, we do know that in aging, our body is made out of cells. So this is the cell in every of our body. So when our cells age, our body would age. Agree? Right. So we have 16 trillion cells in our body that are aging every single day. So this is our cells, and inside our cells you can see all these X. All these are called our chromosomes. Okay, so this is a view of our chromosome, and in each of our chromosome inside contains two strands of DNA. You know, kind of like two letters that are crossing each other, and then and inside the DNA. Inside our DNA, as you can see inside here, contains our genes, and genes is what that's what we're made of. Okay, genes contain information about us, about our how our face look like, our eyes look like, our heart look like, every part of our body looks like. It's actually from our genes. All right. So the problem is actually inside our chromosome. So when chromosome has problems, and chromosomes is inside the cells, so your cells will get problems. When cells has problems, you get problems. Okay. So let's look into our chromosomes. So chromosomes contains our DNA, and DNA contains our genes, which is a representation of our health, of everything about us. Good genes, bad genes are all inside there. Okay, and from the genes, the chromosome actually creates us. So we're made out of proteins. So the genes would help to manufacture the proteins. You know, would tell the chromosomes what kind of protein to create, and that creates us. So our whole body is made out of proteins from the chromosome. So the central dogma is that DNA, how it does is that the cell will actually duplicate itself. And so when it duplicates itself through a process called RNA, translate into proteins, which create our bone cells, our muscle cells, and every eye cells, your hair cells, every part of the cells in your body. Okay, so now that you understand that the problem is inside our DNA, so there are three problems that cause us to age. All right, three major causes. So the first thing is our DNA damage. Now, DNA contains our genes. So if our DNA is damaged, our gene is damaged, or the DNA is damaged, therefore turn on the bad genes, that's where bad things happen to people. So how does our DNA get damaged? Well, our DNA is damaged at least 1 million times a day. Can you imagine that? Your DNA is damaged 1 million times a day. So how is that even possible? So next slide. So the environment plays a very important role. The environment, such as the DNA that's damaged from the outside, which is the water that you drink, the pollution, the radiation from your phones, radiation from your TV screen, the toxics that you're drinking, the chemicals, the preservatives, the smoke that you're drinking outside, breathing in every day, the haze that's going on right now, And then the other way is you get damage from the inside. So how does your DNA get damaged from the inside? So there are three things that your DNA gets damaged from the inside. There is oxidation, okay, there's inflammation and glycation. So only three, so I'm going to go through what these three are. The first thing is called oxidation. Now oxidation, what it does is that when oxidants enters into your cells or your DNA, your molecule or your genes, it would steal and break away one electron. That means, for example, if you have a hand here, your finger here, 5 fingers, someone shot a bullet through one of your finger and your finger is gone, so you're left with only 4 fingers. So that's how the damage occurs. The oxygen will come in and push out one of your hand, your electrons. So one of you is damaged. So that's one way to damage through oxidation. That's why you need to take antioxidants every single day. But why, when you are young, you don't have to take antioxidants, which later on I will tell you why. Okay. The second thing is inflammation. So inflammation causes damage to DNA, which is like allergies, or you hurt yourself, swollen or injury, So that causes inflammation. So inflammation causes damage to DNA. That's why inflammation or inflammaging is called inflammaging. Okay. The third thing that causes DNA on inside is glycation. So what is glycation? Glycation is related to sugar. Have you ever walked on a chewing gum before or a bubble gum? And when you walk, you feel it's kind of sticky, it's when you walk, it's uncomfortable. Now imagine this. Imagine your cells are moving around and they're creating proteins, we're made out of proteins, right? And the sugars stick your protein together so much so that it cannot effectively create and repair your cells to create new cells because it's all stuck together through sugar. So that causes the DNA damage. Second thing is that when you take too much sugar, glycation increases skin damage. That is the first thing you will experience, increases skin damage, and you have wrinkles on your face. Okay, so if you want more wrinkles, take more sugar, drink more Coke. Okay. So second is, so what are the consequences of a DNA when the DNA is damaged? Well, imagine this, now that you know that your DNA Y is damaged 1 million times a day, it's because if your cell, one cell is damaged, one DNA cell is damaged, and because the DNA cells would replicate itself, as you can see a picture here, they will split and replicate a new one. So every time it splits and replicate, whenever the cell is damaged, the next cell that replicates and make a copy of itself is a damaged cell. Can you imagine? If your original cell is damaged, the next cell that copied out is damaged. So when you have poor DNA copy, you create imperfect protein. Protein makes up your body, so you have imperfect body, imperfect skin, imperfect eye, imperfect hair and everything, and that's where the aging occurs. Okay, so now we know that the problem is inside our DNA. The good thing about this is that how come most of the aging problems only occur after 30 years old, and most of the problems don't occur in terms of health, high blood pressure and all these things don't come before 30, despite whatever rubbish char kway teow you eat when you were in your 20s or when you were young all the way to 30s. Why? Because even though your DNA is damaged 1 million times a day, even though you are young, you're 20, 30, 10, or even younger all the way to 50, although it's attacked 1 million times a day, but your body has a auto maintenance that will repair your DNA by itself. All right, especially when you are sleeping. That's why you need to get enough sleep. The DNA will start to be repaired. There's a DNA maintenance work to repair our 1 million damaged DNA every single day. So whenever your cells is damaged, it will straight away go and repair. Whenever it's damaged, it straight away go and repair. That's the reason why you eat, no matter how much rubbish you take, how much smoke you take before you're 30, usually you still can keep healthy. But after 30, that's where all the problem comes. Why? Because your DNA maintenance after 30 is not as good anymore. That's why even if you smoke more between 20 to 30 years old, you don't age as fast. But when you smoke and you're 30 to 40, you age very fast. Okay, so that's why when people are stressed over their schoolwork, when they are 20 to 30 years old, if they're stressed, they don't look so old. Okay, but when you're 30 to 40, you're stressed in your work, you look very old very fast, right? Because your DNA cannot do its maintenance as well anymore. And when your DNA, when your cells, try to do the maintenance, whenever you get damaged 1 million times and it tries to repair, and before it can repair, the cells cannot wait for the repair to finish first before it will replicate. It will replicate the imperfect one. So your DNA is trying to repair. So when it before it can repair, because the repair slow down after 30, right? So before it can even repair finish, it'll replicate already. So you start having an imperfect copy of DNA. So that's when you get health problems. Okay, when your DNA is being affected. So the second thing cause of aging. So we learned the first cause is DNA damage. Second is called telomere shortening. Now, have you ever heard what a telomere is? Now, a telomere is the protective caps of your chromosome. Now, what do you imagine this? Sorry. Imagine that I believe you have typed shoelaces before, right? Imagine your shoelace has a cap. Now, your shoelace has a plastic cap. When your plastic cap loses its cap, all right, which is the plastic cap, when the plastic cap finishes off, all right, when you take out the plastic cap from the shoelace, what happens to your shoelace? Your shoelace becomes frills and is gone. So basically, same. The chromosome, the telomere, which is at the tip of your chromosome, is the one that protects your chromosome from dying, which means keeps your chromosome together from the DNA from being damaged. Because the moment your cap is out, just like your shoelace is out, your whole shoelace is spoiled already. Same case. When your telomere, the whole telomere on top, the cap is gone, the whole thing will be destroyed. And when the chromosomes are destroyed, your cells is destroyed, your body is destroyed. Okay? So this man found out why. Why does your telomere get destroyed? Well, he found out that every time your cells split, all right, your telomere on your chromosomes gets shorter and shorter and shorter, and the maximum it can divide is up to 70 times. So 50 to 70 times your cells will die. So after replicating 70 times, your cells will die because you've got no more telomere already, and that's where apoptosis occur. Apoptosis, the meaning means your cell die. Okay, self-destruct. So why? Why does this happen? Well, he found out that as we age, especially after 30, every time your cells replicate, you can see the replicate 1 become 2, 2 become 4, and every time it replicates, your telomere gets shorter and shorter and shorter. And according to the scientists, if we have no radiation and no DNA damage, anything at all, we still would die a natural death. And to die a natural death is because our chromosome just naturally